Hello, my fellow viewers and investors. Today I'm going to go over why Adam Livingston's key claims on why GameStop failed, not failed, but um, his analysis of GameStop's missed chance of buying Bitcoin is probably not 100% correct. Adam Livingston is an amazing person. One of his videos could send a stock soaring 300%. So I have nothing like that. I don't have his power, but I'm gonna go over some of his claims because sometimes things aren't what they seem, right? So some of Adam's key claims is GameStop raised 1.5 billion dollars specifically to go buy Bitcoin, but they only bought 4,700 Bitcoin, right? That's only 500 million dollars, right? Um, so one thing is GameStop raised 1.5 billion to actually um, for general corporate use and also to buy Bitcoin, right? So GameStop has over 1,000 stores that they have to maintain. So obviously they need a lot of cash to maintain all those stores, right? Not only that, but the fact that they spent some of it to buy Bitcoin is pretty good. Yes, they only have 10%, but they only spent 10%, right? 512 million. But remember, they still have 6.3 billion dollars in cash. That was Metaplanet's actual value last month, I believe. So, and they bought half of Metaplanet's Bitcoin stash in one go. I think that's still pretty good, right? Another thing is because GameStop still has 1,000 stores, they have to, have some kind of cash um, until they either close down all their stores or close down enough that they can maintain with the amount of income that they have, right? Because everybody knows once you buy Bitcoin, you don't sell Bitcoin, right? So Ryan Cohen is not going to go and spend $1.5 billion on Bitcoin, and then when he needs cash, he's not going to go sell the Bitcoin because that would also, result in a backlash from the Bitcoin community, right? And also, MicroStrategy, their playbook was, not one aggressive purchase, right? They gradually built their position over years, right? Not in one purchase, right? And GameStop's kind of doing the same thing, right? And so what that means is, Ryan Cohen went out and bought, what he thought was a decent amount, $500 million worth, and he tested the waters. And the market's reaction was, you know what, that's dumb. We're dumping your stock. So guess who was right? Adam, that wasn't right. Ryan was right because a bunch of people cried. All right. So next, timing and price speculation. Adam Livingston assumes GameStop could have bought 17,000 at $84,000, but um, the purchase actually occurred between May and June, right, when Bitcoin was around 100 to 110,000. So they actually bought at around 108,000 per Bitcoin. So um, whenever someone says, they could have bought 17,000 Bitcoin, it's just to be overreactive, right? Um, Another thing is he said that they invested in T-bills, right? At which they're depreciating in value. Yes, that's true, but they have they have a lot of stores that they have to keep. They need liquid cash, right? At least T-bills are not just plain dollar bills, right? So, like I said, when they close enough stores, right, and they could um, lower the amount of T-bills and cash reserves that they need to actually have, then yeah, they're going to buy more Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is volatile, and maybe they can't um, if they were to put it on the Bitcoin, which we all know you can't sell, then yeah, maybe they can't survive a 20% drop, right? So again, Ryan Cohen wins again. He's thinking about the value for the shareholders, right? Um, Another thing is GameStop hasn't stopped buying Bitcoin. In fact, they recently planned another $1.7 billion worth of convertible notes. This is very bullish for GameStop, right? And like I said, they might not use it all again, right? Because they're still closing stores, right? They sold off their Canadian section, um, the Canadian business front, and sold it to another entrepreneur. So I think overall, GameStop is doing the right thing. They're downsizing, right? Because think about it, MetaPlanet only has 17 employees. GameStop has, who knows, more than 17, right? And you can't just fire all 1,000 stores at once. That's inhumane, right? So the next thing was he said it was a meme stock magic trick and a once in a generation opportunity. He forgets that GameStop has more followers than these new Bitcoin treasury companies, right? Um, like one post from Roaring Kitty could make GameStop stock rise over 500%. That's more power than Adam Livingston, right? Um, so he's undervaluing GameStop. From my experience, if you believe what I'm telling you, today was a great opportunity to jump back into GameStop, right? Recently, there was um, I think it was over $100 million purchase on a position, options position at the $125 strike price. That means someone out there that is good at technical analysis realized that GameStop is not stopping. So if you agree with this, go out there and smash buy GameStop stock tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow. And also, we hope you guys. I hope you guys the best. This is not financial advice. This is just analysis and entertainment. And again, if Adam Livingston gets mad at me, I'm sorry, but I gotta call him out when I see it. See you guys later. Bye.